was just another late night at Harvey's casino in Nevada, until a janitor spotted something that shouldn't have been there. Sitting quietly in a second-floor hallway was a massive gray metal box. No power cord, no switches, no warning labels, just a strange little attachment near the top and 28 metal toggles on the front. 27 of them pointed down. One pointed up. The man was sure he hadn't seen it an hour earlier. No sounds of heavy equipment being wheeled in, no deliveries, nothing. And yet, here it was, so heavy that it sank blocks of wood deep into the carpet just to keep it stable. On the floor next to it lay an envelope. Its title was short, sharp, and unsettling. Harvey's Management. By the time security and deputies arrived, curiosity had turned into fear. They carefully prodded the envelope with a broomstick, then opened it to find something out of a nightmare. The letter warned, "Do not move or tilt this bomb. Any shift greater than 0.01 on the Richter scale will set off the detonators. Inside is enough TNT to destroy this building and severely damage the casino across the street." The more they read, the worse it got. The letter claimed the bomb was impossible to defuse. Try to drown it? A float switch would trigger it. Pump in gas? An atmospheric pressure sensor would set it off. Even the screws on the outside were booby-trapped. Turn one a quarter of an inch in either direction, and boom. Whoever built this monster had thought of everything. As panic spread through the building, the bomb squad rushed in and began evacuating the casino floor. Hundreds of guests poured out into the night, many of them having no idea how close they had just been to disaster. Fire crews cut off the natural gas lines feeding the building, and the FBI was called in. Everyone now knew this wasn't just some crazy bluff. This was one of the most dangerous bombs anyone had ever seen. But here's the catch. No one actually knew if it was real. The wiring inside could have been fake. The whole thing just an elaborate scam to squeeze millions out of the casino. But even testing it carried the risk of killing everyone in the room. So, with their nerves on edge, the bomb squad did the only thing they could. They wheeled in the X-ray machines, pressed their stethoscopes to the cold metal casing, and listened. For minutes, nothing. And then, faint and almost imagined, a tiny whirring sound from deep inside the box. They heard it, that tiny mechanical heartbeat, and the room went ice cold. Suddenly, the theoretical nightmare became terrifyingly real. The National Guard widened the cordon, neighboring buildings were emptied, and the casino's vault-esque calm turned into a command center full of radios, maps, and people who hadn't slept in 48 hours. Every move now carried the weight of lives. The extortion letter read like a madman's opera in obsessive detail. A $3 million pickup by helicopter, precise landing times, clandestine phone calls, strobe light cues, and 5 off-airport drop sites, all with the strict warning of no heroes. Nobody could tell when the timers had been started, which made everything terrifying and rushed. The worst part of the bomb wasn't the timers or how well it was hidden. It was the doubt about what it might do. The 28 switches on the outside might help, but only if the man cooperated and gave the code to slow the timers. And there was no way to know if that code could be trusted. They could pay the money, but many people hated that idea, especially Harvey, who ran the casino. Still, given how things stood, following the letter seemed like their only real choice. They weren't going to give up without a plan, though. The letter said the money must come by helicopter. The pilot must land at 2300 hours as close as possible to the LTA building light at Lake Tahoe Airport. The helicopter should face east. The pilot must come alone and unarmed. The pilot must get out and stand by the chain-link fence gate. He must wait for more instructions that will come by a taxi they will hire. The taxi driver will know nothing. The instructions might also come from a private person or through a nearby public phone at exactly 10 hours. The helicopter delivery plan was written so exactly, it sounded like the man was sure his bomb could beat the FBI. But that did not matter now. A special agent climbed into an FBI helicopter ready to follow the letter. Still, they had their own plan. This was not total surrender to the stranger. The special agent landed at a different, pre-arranged spot at a ski resort while other agents began loading the $3 million onto the helicopter. They packed bags with plain paper cut to the size and look of real bills, and then covered those fake stacks with a layer of real money to fool the man. After the decoy money was set, another agent crouched behind the pilot seat to protect him through the whole meeting, ignoring the letter's rule about no one else's. The helicopter had to be filled with gas. Do not bring any weapons. Do not bring a shotgun rider. All radio channels will be listened to. You must not talk to anyone after you get to the airport. Do not try to be a hero. Arlington is full of heroes. Follow the orders exactly. You will make 5 stops, and none will be at an airfield. You will have plenty of light to land. All landing sites are fairly flat, though one is tilted about 2 degrees. There will be a clear area with more than a 200-foot radius. We do not want trouble, but we will not run if you bring it. Happy landing. The special agent landed the helicopter at the airport named in the letter and did as the note told him. After a short time, the phone mentioned in the letter rang. Your instructions are under the table in front of you. You have 3 minutes. There was no table in front of the agent, so he searched everywhere until he found a letter stuck under a metal shelf. The new letter said, after you read these instructions, open the helicopter door and shine a strong flashlight inside, inch by inch. If the helicopter has 4 seats, fold the backs of the front seats down so you can see clearly. When that's done, you are ready to take off. Make sure no one is near the helicopter and no one climbs in. We are watching you. If you do not obey, do not bother to take off. From the moment you get the phone call, you have 3 minutes to be airborne. Follow Highway 50 West, keeping the highway on your right in a straight line. Do not fly more than 500 feet above the ground. About 15 miles west of the airport, look for a strobe light on your right. A radar gun will sit at a 45-degree angle toward you and will turn the strobe on automatically when it picks you up. Again, do not communicate with anyone by any means. You will have 4 minutes to land after the strobe lights up, because all lights will shut off after 4 minutes. Land facing south. About 200 feet south, you'll find an envelope with more instructions nailed to a tree about 6 feet high. The agent went back to the helicopter and followed the letter exactly. He shone his flashlight everywhere, but did not look at the man hiding in the helicopter. He took off, stayed under 500 feet, followed Highway 50 for 15 miles, and searched for the strobe light meant to guide him. He flew over the area, searching hard for the light. On the ground, FBI agents in unmarked cars followed the helicopter as he looked. But there was a problem. No matter how long he searched, he could not find the strobe light. He circled again and again, watching carefully, but nothing appeared. For more than an hour he searched with no result. Finally, he returned to the airport to wait for a phone call from the man, but no call came. The letter had not been clear about where or how the strobe light would appear. It said to follow the highway, so the agent thought he should go to the highway and track it for 15 miles. But the letter likely meant something else. Go to the highway, then fly straight ahead until he reached the site. He had never been close to the real location. Now, with all contact cut off, there was no way to know what might happen next. The letter had made one thing clear before. There would be no second chances. If they failed to follow orders, there would be no more contact at all. But the letter also warned that if they did not cooperate, the man had, quote, the means to get another bomb in. After the FBI failed to show at the meeting place, John Birges angrily unloaded the bullets from his guns and, with his group, sat on the cold mountain for the rest of the night. When nobody came, they left in the morning. That morning, they drove to a gas station in town and called the Douglas County Sheriff's Office. They had seen on the local news that the hotel, still confused and waiting, might go along with the extortion. So Birges told the sheriff about the fifth switch on the front panel. That fifth switch was a dummy. It would do nothing but buy time so they could try another plan to get the money. Inside, the bomb squad still acted carefully. There was no way to trust anything the man had said, except that the bomb was real and active. If they flipped the switch, there was no way to know whether it would make the bomb go off. But more than 24 hours had passed since the letter's deadline, so the bomb squad thought they had a little more time. They set up a control center outside the casino and called bomb experts from around the country for help with the impossible device. They talked about many ways to defeat the bomb, but it seemed John Birges had planned for almost every possibility. That forced them to try something riskier. They came up with a suicide charge idea that even they were not sure would work. The plan was to use a propelled explosive to make a focused jet of energy that would cut through the bomb like a knife, all in less than a millisecond. They hoped the charge would sever the wires that linked the explosive to its triggers. It was an extremely dangerous plan, but it looked like their only choice. Birges had packed the bomb with every possible safety and firing mechanism, so the team agreed to use the explosive charge method and clear the area. After they evacuated everyone, they set the charge. They planned to detonate it remotely and pray it worked. People stood behind the safe evacuation line and watched quietly and nervously as the team prepared to blow the bomb. Spectators even gathered to watch the blast like it was an event. With everyone safe, the explosion became a spectacle. They all waited to see whether the bomb would go off or not, while the bomb squad readied the detonation. It was finally time for this nightmare to end. John Birges, the man behind the bomb, was a heavy gambler who had lost all his life savings at big casinos. After one misfortune after another and gambling away everything he had, he came up with a plan to extort $3 million. The bomb eventually went off because of another fail-safe Birges had built in. It tore apart the lower part of the building, but the whole place did not collapse. The bomb squad had weakened the blast by piling sandbags around it. Still, the casino was left with a 60-foot hole ripped through its side. Wires, concrete, and twisted metal were everywhere. The damage was huge, but somehow experts thought it could still be repaired. The bomb itself had layer after layer of extra traps, spring-loaded screws, pressure switches, metal foil, and more. Any one of them could have set the bomb off and killed everyone nearby. When John Birges saw the news that the bomb had exploded, he and his group were crushed. This had been his last chance to win back what he had lost, and it failed. In the days that followed, investigators tracked the group's vehicle back to the mountain. After chasing down leads, witnesses, and interrogations, Birges was finally caught. He was found guilty on 8 charges and sentenced to 20 years in prison. About 14 years later, he died of liver cancer in prison. The FBI now uses this bomb as an example of advanced bomb making. It was so complex that even today, it is seen as one of the hardest devices anyone ever tried to defuse.